Good afternoon. It is Saturday. Happy Saturday. I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Sharing a few updates with you all. Let's think about it. What is some news that some of you don't care about and don't want to hear, but I'm going to share it with you anyway? We won another JC appeal yesterday, the National Libertarian Party. That was a weird one. It had to do with whether or not a Region 1 agreement was in effect. They ruled it did. If that sounds incredibly boring and snooze-inducing to you, it is. And that's all you need to know. Our presidential candidate, Chase Oliver, had a birthday yesterday. You should wish him a happy birthday. Maybe you're angry at me that I'm addressing him because you don't like him. And so you think I should stop. Or maybe you are angry because I didn't say his name like 10 times today. And you're a big fan. Well, no matter what, I guaranteed not to please anyone. So there you go. Belated happy birthday to Chase Oliver. I'm working on 2 really awesome events right now with a team of really awesome people. Rage Against the War Machine 2.0 is happening. It's happening September 28th. Super excited to announce this. We are getting the gang back together. We are inviting back many of the same speakers. We have a lot of the same demands, and we're really stoked to be doing this on a huge stage with a very large production in Washington, D.C., in front of the Washington Monument this time. So come on out and rage against the war machine with us. Our demands are negotiate peace, stop the war inflation, disband NATO, global nuclear de-escalation, slash the Pentagon budget, abolish the CIA and military-industrial deep state, abolish war and empire, restore civil liberties, pardon Julian Assange, very happy he's free this time around, and not one more penny for wars in Ukraine or Gaza. We are working on our speaker roster. So far, we have confirmed myself, Colonel Douglas McGregor, who is a new addition, very excited about that, Keith Knight, Scott Horton, Garland Nixon, Clint Russell this time, and Josie, the redheaded libertarian. So we are still working on sending out and finalizing invitations to a lot of speakers at our last rally and having a couple of new faces too. So I'm excited. Come on out. This is going to be a huge production. We've had some generous sponsors already agree to drop a lot of cash. We are not done fundraising though. So we could definitely use your financial support for the event. Please donate. I will make sure to put a link to the donation page and the notes for this YouTube video. By the way, if you have not subscribed on YouTube and you are watching on Twitter, please subscribe on YouTube and then just to continue to watch on Twitter if that's what you want to do. So this is going to be happening September 28th. That's a Saturday, about 12 to 5 p.m. It's going to be huge. We worked with the National Parks Service to basically fence off the entire area. We can fit 100,000 people in this event. You think we won't do that? Yes, we will. We'll probably fit at least 50,000 people in. This is going to be incredible. And you should come out and you should be one of those people. This is going to be completely wild. It's really, really important that we speak out against the war machine in Washington, D.C., close to the general election. Our goal is to get anti-war politicians. There are a handful, a small smattering, right? Get them up on stage and have them make commitments and have their peers in Washington hear it and agree. And if you think it's not possible, it is, because the Montana Libertarian Party just got Tim Sheehy, a Republican candidate for Senate, to agree to support Defend the Guard legislation. We are doing the work. It is absolutely happening. Everyone knows I'm an optimist, maybe a fatally optimistic at times. But as far as I can tell, we're getting it done. Let's just keep doing it. Let's have a great time doing it. Maybe we'll get President Trump to appear and endorse Defend the Guard. Maybe we'll get him to say that he's going to force Israel to make a deal, and that they won't be able to kill innocent women and children in Gaza. I'm sure some of you are incredibly jaded. You're like, that'll never happen. We can never, well, it won't happen if you don't try. I'm here to try. I'm here to make things happen. I want you along for the ride. So that's what we're doing. Rage Against the War Machine. Speakers so far announced. me, Colonel Douglas MacGregor, Keith Knight of the Libertarian Institute, Scott Horton of the Libertarian Institute, Garland Nixon, one of my favorite people from the left. Did you know he used to be on the board of the ACLU? Fascinating story. He is a delightful human being. Clint Russell. You all know Clint Russell. You love him. Josie, the redheaded libertarian. We are going to continue to add voices. Thomas Massey's been invited. We're going to be sending out a couple of other invitations to your favorites, and we hope they'll attend. We're also probably going to have a really awesome MC, more awesome than I am. I am mid on my awesomeness. We're going to find the top tier awesome for you. And what are we doing the next day? You want to come to DC this weekend for the entire weekend. We're calling it Rally Weekend. First of all, there's going to be a really badass policy talk happening Friday. So if you're somebody who's really into policy and you want to see how the sausage is made and how we are unmaking the worst of it and replacing it with stuff that is going to protect your individual liberties, your right to bodily autonomy, your right to know, what goes in all these shots and things before you stick them in your arm. What's going on with your food? What's happening with all this climate cultist stuff? Are they maybe suppressing new technologies so that we can all become enslaved to very failed wind farms? Come out to this thing, so plan to get there Thursday night. And then Saturday, Rage Against the War Machine, and Sunday, Rescue the Republic. So what the heck is Rescue the Republic? This is going to be an incredibly badass event featuring Brett Weinstein, Matt Taibbi, Colonel Douglas MacGregor again, Robert Malone, Pierre Corey, J.P. Sears, 5 Times August, Tennessee Jet. We are adding some comedians. You may or may not see Jimmy Dore at one or both of these events this weekend. Still working some things out. We are seeing if we can get some comedians to jump from Skankfest Saturday night to show up on Sunday in DC. We'll see. We've had some very generous donors offered to make some of that stuff happen. Although we are still fundraising to pull this whole thing off. This costs like $1 million to put on. It's a huge, expensive event because we've got to fence the whole area in. We've got to have a plan for counter protesters. We've got to have security, but it can't actually be too hardcore and aggressive because it's a national park, so it's a free speech event, which means you got to be able to mill about and do your thing. Very fun, very tricky. We are going to pull it off. Why do we want to rescue the Republic? I think that's what everybody wants to know. What is this event? And why does my live stream always freeze? So this rally is really, I think, an effort to unite and mobilize the dissident right and the dissident left into action. People who are fed up with intelligence operations, the deep state, the military industrial complex, the corporate media, which is really just the surveillance and information censorship apparatus of the deep state. People are fed up with it. And we're right at a turning point, I think, culturally, politically, spiritually, psychologically, where we actually do have the momentum to shift a lot of this stuff and crush it under heel. I'm excited about it. I think it's an existential threat to Western values, to everything that the United States was founded on, essentially to our republic, and to the people across the world who look to us as kind of like the last beacon of hope, right? The last place where freedom lives. It's like a scary time, but it's also such an optimistic time. As you see people like Elon Musk and other people who are in positions of power start to shift in our direction and make themselves vulnerable and put things that they have on the line to defend our rights. And I think that we have a huge momentum moving right now, we've got momentum moving. And I just want to continue that. And the harder we work on this, the more people we bring on, the more people we get on that stage, people in positions of influence and power, and we get them to publicly commit to defending and preserving our individual liberties, rescuing the United States, rescuing the Republic, rescuing Western values, the stronger of a chance we have of succeeding. I'm putting just everything I've got on the line for this one. I think I really, it's a huge effort. It's a huge undertaking to plan this. It's been very exhausting. Major props to Matt Toon, who is working on this with me. He's the guy that put together the Defeat the Mandate series. They had a huge, like 45,000 person rally in DC and also in LA. So, he's joined forces with me. I put on Rage Against the War Machine with the help of Nick Brana and a wonderful team of volunteers in 23. And obviously the National Libertarian Party convention, also with the help of a wonderful group of volunteers just this past May. So I think we can do it. We're coming together. Brett Weinstein has been helping too. He's been the brains of a lot of talking about what is the West, which I think is something that's like really cool. People, one of my staffers said it was very based to talk about Western values. And I agree. Let me see if I can find a little bit of information. So our website is jointheresistance.org. What is the West? The West, basically, the West. We don't just mean the Western Hemisphere, like the ideas of the West, the value, the zeitgeist. It aims to level the playing field and distribute opportunity as widely as possible. Today, the West is in grave danger as every single principle upon which it is based is under simultaneous threat. And these principles include freedom of speech, freedom of assembly and religion, presumption of innocence. Can think of a lot of legal issues that have happened over the last couple of years. Well, since 2020, right? Presumption of innocence seems like it's been taken away from us. The right to privacy, hypersurveillance, the NSA, the Patriot Act, our rights to privacy has been under attack for now, 24 years. The consent of the governed being the sole basis for governmental legitimacy. That was obviously under assault during lockdowns and the COVID craze. Equal protection under the law. That's been ripped away from us. A colorblind society. That's right, colorblind. I said it. It used to totally be normal to say that. For some reason now that's insensitive or not inclusive enough. Which really shows like that is under attack. I stand by what I said. Colorblind society. Property rights. Those seem to not matter. It seems to be okay to riot, loot, burn down a city because people are upset. And the law enforcement doesn't care. They don't care. The right to challenge evidence and confront witnesses. That's been under attack. And the right to informed consent. As we all know, the right to informed consent was taken away from us in 2020. And some states, have reneged on that. They've walked it back a little bit. But I'd say coming from California that this has been a long-standing problem, especially for children. So those are the values that make the Western world great. And those are the values that we think are under assault. And it's been difficult. We've talked a lot, had a lot of conversations about what is it? It's like the industrial complex assault, the greater industrial complex, this umbrella of industrial complexes, but they all seem to be part of this unholy merger of industry and, industry and government, Think about it. Where's a good description of it? Here I have one. The military industrial complex, the medical industrial complex, the finance industrial complex, like CBDCs and all of that stuff. Immigration, which is one that some libertarians will be mad that I'm touching on, but I think that we should discuss it. It seems like there's an immigration industrial complex. There's a real push by NGOs and some players of our government to drive very large groups of mostly homeless people here from other countries. And it doesn't seem like it's working out for them very well once they get here. It doesn't seem like it's working out for us. It seems like it is a taxpayer burden. It seems like it is driving dissent and anger and division between immigrants and people who were born here. And it's a problem. The academic industrial complex. Brett Weinstein and Jordan Peterson could probably speak a whole lot about that, and maybe they both will at this event. Yeah, the push for certain types of propaganda through academia, and those who don't toe the line are totally kicked out and canceled. And it's scary, what they want to teach young people. And also, good grief, like the state of schools. The state of schools is. I think I did a live stream about PISA tests results recently. You can go back and look at that one. We're not sending our best. The censorship industrial complex, I think everyone's familiar with that at this point. The Twitter files, the government basically weaponizing social media, which has essentially become the town square, whether you like it or not, and censoring it and pushing out narratives and censoring information about elections and people in positions of power and viruses and cures to viruses and whether or not those viruses are viruses. The developmental industrial complex, another sore spot for certain libertarians. What is going on with all of the gender stuff? What is going on with kids? Why do kids get sick so much? Early on, this is something that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. talks a lot about, who may or may not be appearing at our event. All really important things, and we're going to be discussing them. From our perspective, the founders of this event, is war is always the last resort. We should sanctify and recodify informed consent. We should secure monetary freedom. No CBDCs, right? Get the Federal Reserve under control. My preference is toss it right out, make it irrelevant. Enact a rational border policy. I think there's a lot of different ways that you could approach that. For those of you who are hardcore open borders, I assume you would still want a policy so that you could know what was going on. Because right now it seems to be at the whim of whoever's in charge. They get to do whatever they want, and policy be damned. And it's unhealthy, and it's a really crappy thing to do to people in foreign countries who might try to come here under false pretenses. The other thing I think that needs to be discussed with that is the impact that the United States foreign policy has on foreign countries, and whether or not those people in foreign countries end up living in a country that's destabilized by war caused by us, and then they, want to come over here. There's a lot to unpack there. With academics, we want to liberate truth-seeking and open dialogue. Schools should be places where you can seek the truth and have open conversations. There are no safe spaces. That's what college used to be. That's what the university used to be. And that's what it should be again. We want to banish state media control and aggressive surveillance. That stuff's got to go. It's got to go. Maybe we can finally make a push at the NSA this year. I don't know. I think it starts at this event. And we want to restore family sovereignty. For those of you who live in California, I really feel for you to worry about some social worker person, childless cat lady, Zer, knocking on your door, asking if you're complying with your 11-year-old's gender choice, checking your vaccination record, all that kind of crap. There has been a huge push to destroy the family unit, to replace, at first, it was to replace the father with the state. And the family unit is so important, right? Because it's the bulwark. It guards against the state because the family is sovereign, and the state doesn't like that. So they want to dismantle the family. And the first move was to remove the father, to break up the family and have the government basically stand in as the man and say, oh, we'll be the arbiters of your dispute. We'll make sure that the man pays you. And when he doesn't, we'll step in and pay you with welfare. And I think now it's they're going after the mother too. they want mom out, which is why there's all this aggressive push for kids to go to their teachers and talk about their gender and do this and do that. And for the schools to force and coerce a lot of creepy things. They want the childless cat ladies who teach in elementary school to be the new mom. So take your kids out of public school. But yeah, we need to restore family sovereignty. Those schools, things like that, if they exist to the extent that they must in certain areas, they should never usurp family authority, never usurp family sovereignty. So that's what we're doing at this event. We're going to bring together speakers from the dissident right, from the dissident left, from libertarian schools of thought, and we're going to put them on a main stage and we're going to talk about it. And we're also going to have an awesome time. We're going to have comedy. We're going to have music, because the one thing that I have heard from people when I talk about planning events is a little bit of fatigue. You get up, someone said, if I just hear another talk about just myocarditis, I'm just going to go sit in my car and wait it out. We don't want to do that. We want this to be an awesome event. We want to reclaim having fun, comedy, music, because so many important industries, I just feel like, have been just crushed and exhausted by the drama of political correctness, all of that crap. It sucks, and it sucks for them. And I think right now there's a little bit of an awakening and a pushback in comedy under the guidance of Joe Rogan, Tony Hinchcliffe, Shane Gillis, people like that, who are just like, nope, I don't care about what's politically correct. This is supposed to be funny. Offensive things are funny. Funny things are offensive. It doesn't matter. Lighten up. We all need to laugh. We want to be a place where people can unite in laughter. We want to be a place where people can unite in music. We have some really cool bands that are talking about joining us at the stage as well. So this is going to be an all-day event. It will probably take a while to get through. If we have to set up gates for 100,000 people to attend, it'll be an all-day event. So we'll be starting some of our smaller acts earlier in the morning, and we'll have our headliners going later in the afternoon so that everybody can get in and get a chance to have a really great time. We need your support to put this event on. Go to jointheresistance.org. That is our website. By the way, we announced it on Charlie Kirk's show 2 days ago, and immediately we're under our website got attacked, which I thought was hilarious, maybe a small badge of honor there. So if it's not up, it does exist. You can also find us on Twitter, Rescue the Republic. We're on Gab too, even though I don't go on Gab very much, and we're on Instagram. We have an incredible team of people working to put this event on. The team that worked to put together Defeat the Mandate. So you've got a very based medical freedom team working on all of this, and some really generous donors who are helping us. But we do need donations for both events. So we appreciate your support. And I'm just super excited to be working on this. One of the things that I've been pushing really hard, in spite of some pushback from the Libertarian Party, is a real coalition movement. And this is something I talked about when I was running for chair in 2022, that I think political parties are kind of falling apart and going by the wayside, that you are going to see things more like a menu of services. People want to pick based on issues. They're going to pick based on the things that move them, sort of like how cable TV fell apart. Now you have Netflix, Disney Plus, Peacock, so on and so forth. You build your own network of things that you want to pay for. And I think the same thing is happening with political parties. And RFK Jr. jumping into the race kind of proves my point. And Donald Trump talking about putting a libertarian in his cabinet and building a relationship with people like Rod Blagojevich kind of proves my point. He's doing a coalition thing. I'm doing a coalition thing. We need to continue to work with people who share our values, even if they don't always share our brand, because your brand isn't forever. It's not forever. Work with the people who share your values. I think that values and saving what we have, the Western world, is the most important thing right now. And those of you who are party purists, you can I give you free license to But I'm going to go and I'm going to do my thing. And I'm going to advance liberty, libertarianism. I'm going to bring us up politically as we do it and as we save the Western world. And I'm super excited. I am super excited. So thank you for those of you who have been supportive of me in the past. I appreciate it very much. I am also very much looking forward to seeing some of you in person at some of these events. And I am going to put where you can donate to Rage Against War at the bottom of the screen. It's rageagainstwar.com. Please go there. Sign up. Get in touch with us. We want to hear from you. We need you to volunteer. If you want to volunteer, we would love to have you. If you want to be a sponsor, if you want to have a booth there, we would love to have you. There are a lot of people who are going to be there who are new to libertarianism and very interested. So we need as many libertarians there as possible. We want our state affiliates there. We want your groups. Are you going to do a live podcast in the morning? I want you there, all kinds of really amazing opportunities to get out there and grow your brand. So join us at this event. It is going to be absolutely badass. Let's go to the comments. Here in California, AB 1955 was signed into law by Newsom, instructing school districts to lie and keep secrets from parents about their own children. Yep, that is really disturbing, and that is exactly what I'm talking about with restoring family sovereignty. Teachers are not parents. They're not your mom, and we need to fix that. The state of schools has to be on purpose. I completely agree. Like, it's an agenda, it's an agenda. They don't want you to be in charge. Like, once you take away the family unit, then everyone is just obedient to the state. And I think that's the ultimate goal. It is obedience and loyalty to the state. And that's what they did in the Soviet Union, in Soviet Russia. They turned all the kids into little snitches. You got rewarded if you snitched on your parents. There was no trust in the home. So that's, step one. Oh, you can't trust your parents. You can't talk to them about it. So talk to us instead. We'll respect your Caesar, foxskin, weirdo, made up gender thing. And we won't tell mom and dad. Not good. Not good. Will this event be live streamed? Yes, probably. Absolutely, actually. But we want to encourage everyone to attend because it's going to be amazing. And we are working on hotel blocks too. Rage Against the War Machine is going to have some hotel blocks. Rescue the Republic is going to have the majority of them. It's going to be incredible. And that's all I got for you today. I think that next week I'm going to be in Miami. We're having an event. The Libertarian National Committee is having a fundraiser event Saturday night in Miami. I don't remember the name of the restaurant, but you should show up because we're auctioning off a chainsaw. Yes, we are. We are auctioning off a chainsaw. It's going to be lit. What else? We're also having a meeting. That's really boring and dull, so you don't need to come to that. But definitely come to our event Saturday night. You can email info@lp.org to get all the details since I'm terrible and I cannot remember them all. But yeah, thank you. Remember, if you have not already, please support my work at patreon.com/Angela McArdle. Grab an Anti-Deep State Coalition shirt off my Printify shop. I am also on Locals. And you are all the coolest, except for those of you who hate me. You are slightly less cool. But there's room in your heart. You'll grow to love me eventually. And that's it. Have a great time.